Hello, time Padawans. I'm your Jedi Master today, and guys, so you may have seen the title of this video and been like, what is this? So I recently found this video that is basically the Disney era of Star Wars and how they portray the Jedi. It is made by a YouTuber known as Thor Skywalker. And he says, the problem with Jedi in the Disney era of Star Wars. Now, his big issue is that it seems like there's a power creep on the Force in the Disney era of Star Wars. Now, don't get me wrong. There are many complaints that you can levy against, the Disney era of Star Wars. But the fact of the matter is that this to me shows a inherent lack of understanding about what the Force is and how it works. So I won't be playing the entirety of the video. I'll be sourcing some clips. I have seen the entirety of the video, and I'll leave it down in the link in the description in case you guys do want to watch it yourself. But basically, the big issue that he has, and I'll go ahead and play a clip here.
Now, one thing I've always liked and appreciated about the Star Wars prequel trilogy was the fact that what you might call the power levels seen in those films were more or less on par or in line with what we saw in the original trilogy. That it felt like the exact same Force in those films that we got in those first films. That we didn't suddenly see Jedi or Sith running around doing crazy things or using insane Force powers. That there wasn't what you might call a power creep.
Is that the Jedi are too powerful in the Disney era of Star Wars. The Force is too powerful. Now, anybody who knows anything about the extended universe or the lore of Star Wars or the lore of the Force itself knows that the lore of all of it is that depending on the state that Jedi are in, what they're doing in that moment, how they're what kind of emotional peak that they're in, all develops and contends with how they use the Force. There are many examples that the Jedi and the Force are a lot more powerful than they are normally shown in the movies, and then there's a lot of examples that there's times that the Force is extremely weak. He states that it looks like that it just augments natural ability inside of the movies, particularly the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy.
Instead, it was pretty much the exact same powers that were being used before. There were just many more beings running around using them. The Force in the prequels was still something that mainly just augmented natural abilities like running and jumping, gave you incredible reflexes, enough so to use a lightsaber extremely efficiently, even to the point of blocking and redirecting blaster bolts.
Now, of course, the original trilogy was hampered by the development of its time. We obviously couldn't get these grandiose displays of the Force. But we do get a slight hint of it. Not necessarily in the fact of the physical, but we do see that Obi-Wan is able to detect whenever a planet is entirely destroyed, stating that he heard 1,000 voices cry out at once and then suddenly go silent. This is a element that shows how much more of the Force there really is that we are not seeing at that moment. He mentions the Obi-Wan versus Vader fight, which I have my own grievances with. To me, it doesn't feel like it's canonical. I think it destroys the lore of the Star Wars universe in general. And the fact of the matter is that, the Force is a lot more powerful than people give it credit for. A lot more powerful. There are elements of displays of the Force in the extended universe, like Starkiller pulling down an entire Star Destroyer and from space and crashing it onto a junk planet. There are things like stuff akin to, there was originally going to be Anakin was supposed to, manipulate the lava on Mustafar and try to kill Obi-Wan with it. I think that was scrapped simply because Lucas didn't want the battle to be weighted too far on one side. He also said that it would look a little ridiculous, which I agree, that would have looked a little ridiculous if he just all of a sudden just went and just like took this lava and everything. That would have been, it would have taken that extremely, emotional moment and just kind of made it silly. There are many grandiose displays of the Force. It's not just an augment of natural ability. As a matter of fact, the entire thing of the Jedi even being able to duel with lightsabers is not even an augment of natural ability. The reason that most people are not able to use lightsabers effectively is because they're not able to detect basically when their opponent's going to strike. So whenever the Jedi fight, whenever the Sith fight, the Force is literally telling them, hey, block here, do this, block this. Basically, it's making them move so freaking fast. Their brains are working in overdrive. And that's why, it's literally, and I always bring up the Battle of Heroes as the best one, because the choreography with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen is intense. And they practice that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And it really took them a long time to get that down. I think 3 or 4 months, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but it did take a significant amount of time. Once they got it down, they're really moving that fast in the movie. Like, it's not sped up, it's not anything. They're actually going that fast. Like, each strike is hitting, and they're going that fast. So the fact of the matter is that inside of the Star Wars canon universe, outside of extremely skilled actors who learned the choreography and became extremely skilled at the choreography, this kind of natural, quote unquote, a natural ability would be impossible for the quote unquote natural people in Star Wars. A Jedi and a non-Jedi being able to face off against one another would be intense. There have been a few examples, such as General Grievous, and before he became a machine, of course. But even then, he gets his limbs lopped off by Obi-Wan within 2 minutes of the fight. So it's one of those things that people have to consider. And I think this shows really just the lack of understanding in the mythos of Star Wars and in the lore of Star Wars and in the lore of the Force. And I'm not trying to bring any hate upon Thor Skywalker. I'm sure that he just probably does not understand, the mythos. He either might be a casual fan or he has not delved too much into the extended universe. Any number of things. And I don't want people to send hate towards him. This is just a video to respond to him and kind of give a kind of declaration of this was always how the Force was. And, I don't hate that, he has problems with the Disney era of Star Wars. I have my own problems with the Disney era of Star Wars. Many people do. I don't think that the level that it gets hated on is necessarily right. And I think that this is sort of reaching, like this kind of video is sort of reaching. And I don't think that we need to, subject stuff like the Force to this level of scrutiny whenever there's more things that you can take a deep dive into and talk about, such as the fact that it seems like that Disney doesn't even like the Jedi anymore. That's all I wanted to say. And guys, I want to reiterate this: don't go hate on his video. Go and watch it. Watch it for what it is. I'm here to just try and educate. And hopefully this, can help people understand that, that Disney, despite them destroying the canon of the Star Wars universe, right now, that they're not destroying the Force at all. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching this. If you did enjoy it, please give it a like. Make sure to go check out his video down in the description box below. I'll only be using clips of the video. It is his video. He put time into it, so make sure you go watch it. And of course, you guys know, tell a friend about my Star Wars channel because it's pretty awesome. And may the Force be with you. Always.